Hi, folks, and welcome back to another session of Sqanning, Sqanning, a very simple to learn, simple to practice relaxation technique. I've been doing one or two sessions a day via live stream on Facebook, so I'm back now for the afternoon session. Sometimes I sneak in an additional session in the evening, but this is what we got so far going on today. A lot of people were nice enough to visit this morning. So we're just going to continue with these lessons. Basically, as I've mentioned before, the technique doesn't change. You're not going to see anything new in terms of the technique with these sessions, but I will run through what the technique is just to reinforce it for anyone who's interested in using it as a way to relax your mind and body, and generally speaking, just clear your mind. So Sqanning is a technique which I came up with over the years. Just it's a distillation of many different practices which I've explored. As an actor, I'm always looking for ways to center myself, relax my body and mind, not just for the art of acting itself, but also for my life in general, because anyone who knows about the acting career knows that it has its ups and downs, and this is just a sort of a way to stay centered. So that's how I came up with it. A lot of what I practice is based on the ideas of a gentleman named Thaddeus Golas, Golas, who wrote a book called The Lazy Man's Guide to Enlightenment, which I've read and enjoyed for many years, and a lot of these concepts are inspired by his writings. So that's how we got started. So as far as the technique is concerned, I developed the technique specifically for its simplicity and for using anytime, anywhere, for as little or as long as you like. The main appeal of it to me is that it comes from me, it comes from the practitioner. It's a way to relax and calm your body and mind without having to go anywhere, go to an office or read a book or watch a program on television or log onto the internet. It's something that you can own for you, doesn't cost a dime, and you can keep it with you as you, if you will, in your hip pocket as something that you can use anytime, anywhere. So that's what I wanted, because I wanted to be able to have a way to center myself if I was on the job, if I was in a waiting room at an audition, if I was home, and I didn't want to feel like I had to extend myself outward to reach outward to get some external force, that it could come just from within me. So that's the foundation of it. So let's get started. I'm just going to describe exactly what the technique is built on. And Sqanning, again, spelled Sqanning. If I was to define it, it would be the incremental release of muscular tension for the purpose of achieving a deep state of physical and mental calm. And I'll say it again, an incremental release of muscular tension for the purpose of achieving a deep state of physical and mental calm. So when I say incremental, that's exactly what it means. We're going to, through a series of steps, induce muscular relaxation throughout your body and by association your mind, but we're going to do it incrementally. And by that I mean, if I say make a fist and relax the tension in your fist just ever so much, that much, tiny amount, then you've achieved a degree of relaxation. And relaxation is like a path. It's like a path you go down. Once you've chosen to take that path, you're on the path. So any amount in that direction is productive and advantageous. So incremental, by taking incremental steps, which is small but progressive, you're slowly coaxing your body into this deep state of relaxation. So it's a gentle, simple approach. It's not too steep a mountain to climb. I'm not asking you to instantly and completely relax. I'm saying relax a little bit. So again, if I just said to you right now, on my count, 3, 2, 1, I want you to relax your body 1%. 3, 2, 1, relax. And you'll feel a change, ever so slight. And that's all you're going to be doing with this process, is implementing incremental release of the musculature, very gradually, very slowly. And if I was to say one crucial aspect to this technique, it's awareness. What we're doing is we're building a self-awareness so that you can be aware of those small incremental changes and value them. So if I say again, now we're going to do it with the hands. Gently clasp your hands together. And on the count of 3, 3, 2, 1, release. And just be aware of the change that just occurred. Awareness is 99% of this technique. Building an awareness of what it feels like to relax, to release. Because as you become more sensitive to that feeling, and you have it more as a muscle and mental memory, you can return to it more readily. Just like anything you practice. If you want to learn how to hit a baseball, the first few times you swing the bat at the batting cage, you'll be pretty good, but then you'll get better and better because the more you do it, the more your muscles remember that process. So in the same way, by repeating this technique, you're going to reinforce incrementally what it feels like to relax. You're going to reinforce that feeling until it becomes second nature and a part of you. So this is how we start. You clasp your hands together, and I have my arms up on the arms of a chair. That's why my hands are up, but you can rest them in your lap. What's important is that you just be relaxed. You clasp your hands together and you register in your mind, that's what it feels like to clench my muscles, to contract my muscles. And on my count, you're going to release that tension and pay very close attention to the changes that occur in your body when you do. 3, 2, 1, release. Take a deep breath. And study what that felt like. To incrementally release tension in your body. Ever so slightly. To change direction. Ever so slightly. To take your foot off the gas and to dial it back. That's what we're going to be doing for the next 20 minutes. Reinforcing that feeling. And sitting and just registering what that feels like. I like to talk about life as a construction, a building we're building. And we're always building. We have a toolbox full of tools. And we reach into that toolbox to use the various types of tools that we've used before and we know work to a degree. And we're very familiar with those tools and they have value. The hammer, the screwdriver, all these things. So generally in life, the way we approach it is we tackle life. It's a muscular, aggressive approach to life. We think, we exert ourselves. So what scanning is an additional tool which I'm asking you to put in your toolbox that has equal value, but is perhaps not as familiar to you because it intuitively doesn't seem like it would help you produce anything. I'm asking you to let go, to release, to relax. And see what that feels like. And begin to learn how being relaxed can actually help you accomplish things also. So we're practicing this new tool, and I call it scanning. So clasp your hands together. 3, 2, 1, release. And register what that felt like. And you may feel that release spread from your hands into your chest and the rest of your body. And that's exactly what I want to happen. I want you to begin to see that as you send your body the message that it's time and it's okay to relax, it will begin to participate and you will be moving yourself towards that relaxation. So let's try it again. Gently squeezing the hands together. 3, 2, 1, release. Deep breath. And this moment of release is like dropping a pebble in a lake. And as the ripples go out, that's the sensation of relaxation extending and spreading through the rest of your body. So that's what you want to feel. You prepare to drop the pebble. When I say release, you drop the pebble and then experience that wave of release and relaxation pass through your body. And then build on that. So now if we've reduced our body's tension 2%, which is a victory, then we're going to do it again. We're going to take it to 3. And it's a cumulative effect till eventually you'll start to feel your body completely give in to the relaxation as it starts to recognize where we're going, and you will feel no tension. But we're building incrementally. So here we go again. Gently squeezing the hands together. 3, 2, 1, release. Deep breath. Exhale. Now sit and pay attention very carefully to how your body feels and how it's changed now that you've started to incrementally release your muscular tension. 15 seconds, just build an awareness of that sensation of release. Deep breath. And I'm not sure how your day has gone, hopefully not too bad, but my day is typically, I just work on things and I collect a lot of projects and things that I want to do to try to gain control of my life, to make money, to cover the bases, take care of errands and tasks that need to be dealt with. And I do that all day, and I start to build up a head of steam, and I get to a point where I'm kind of wrapped up in knots. And so I come to scanning as a way to stop that whole process, slow down the forward motion of that wheel, slow it down and dial it back so that I can come back to a still and quiet place of release and relaxation. Unwind, if you will. Let's try it again. Squeeze the hands together. Register what that feels like. 3, 2, 1, release. Take a deep breath. Exhale. And now sit and study that feeling. And give in to the feeling of release. And if you can find areas in your body where you can tell you're holding on to tension, then send a release to that area as well. 15 seconds. Deep breath. Now, this place of stillness and quiet and release is what I call home. This is the goal of scanning. It's to incrementally release the muscular tension until you reach a place of comfort and you can sit and just be still, just paying attention to the beating of your heart and the throbbing of your limbs and face as the blood flow increases. That's home. That's home base. I like to say you're running the bases all day and then you come home. So if you come to this place and you feel suddenly at peace and comfortable, then stay there. You don't have to do anything else. You don't have to do this procedure at all. All these are just tools to get you to that place of calm. And then once you're there, just sit and experience that feeling for as long as you like. You're welcome to stay as long as you like during the session, or leave, or continue on your own. All I'm trying to do is help guide you down that path. Let's try it again. Gently clasping the hands together. 3, 2, 1. Release. Let that sensation of release pass through your body. Deep breath. Exhale. And now study the sensations of what it feels like to have incrementally released a tiny bit more tension. 15 seconds. Deep breath. Many people become uncomfortable with sitting and doing nothing. And the reason is that you're so used to pursuing things and reading things and eating things and drinking things and saying things, and that you feel like those external activities identify you. And you feel like you need to be doing those things to feel alive, to feel like you exist. And the purpose of sitting and doing nothing is to remind yourself that in doing nothing, you actually are fine. You exist, and that's valuable. It's even better because you're not having to exert yourself at all. So you want to come to that place where you're doing nothing comfortably and you don't feel impatient because you're feeling yourself. You're getting the joy and experience of feeling your heartbeat and your lungs breathe and your muscles relax. Here we go, gently squeezing the hands together, registering what it feels like to contract the muscles. On the count of 3, you're going to release completely and let that sense of release pass through your body. 3, 2, 1, release. Deep breath. Exhale. And still for 30 seconds this time. Now, I've been saying to take a deep breath, but the ideal thing to do is to let the body tell you when to take a deep breath. It's as if you've taken a dive into the deep end of a pool to retrieve something from the bottom of the pool, and it's kind of interesting and fun to stay down there holding your breath, and at some point your body will send you an impulse. It's time to breathe. And you will follow that impulse, and you'll go to the surface, and you'll take a deep breath. You can fight that impulse, and you can stay underwater, and it will begin to become uncomfortable. But eventually you have to breathe. But what I'd like you to tune into is the impulse that your body sends you when it's time to breathe. Because where we're headed with this technique is letting the body take over. Or as I like to say, coming back into your body. So that you are more in your own skin. You're feeling and existing through the experience of just being. So we want to listen to the body when it tells us to breathe, because then we're getting in sync with our body. So wait until you feel that impulse to breathe, and then take it as often as you like. A lot of times when we're tense, we've, to a degree, depleted the oxygen in our body because we've been tense and we haven't been breathing as much as we want. So the first thing that starts to happen when you relax is your body says, oh, it's safe to breathe. And it'll send you a signal. Now, breathe. Follow that signal. Take that breath. You're reoxygenating your body. You're reoxygenating your organs. Your whole system is benefiting from it. The blood flow is opening up as the capillaries and veins relax. You'll feel a throbbing. Your body's coming back into itself, and it's alive. So follow that impulse. So we've defined the 3 steps of Sqanning. Grasp and release. Let the release pass through your body. Wait for the impulse to breathe. Take a deep breath. Exhale. You're done with 2, and then 3. Just sit and experience that change. Let's do it 15 seconds this time. Deep breath. And that is it. That is Sqanning. At minimum, all you need to do is to have a seat. You can even do it standing. Clench your hands together. No one has to know. It can be something you do without anyone knowing. Remind yourself what it's like to be holding physical tension in your body. That is the metaphor. Your hands are the metaphor for what your entire system is doing. And by clenching your muscles, I also mean, in a way, clenching your mind, because when we think, we're exerting an effort through our brain, which is a muscle of sorts. So this is a metaphor for all that thinking, all that efforting. And on my count, you're going to release that tension. 3, 2, 1, release. And you'll feel the release in your hands, but I want you to be aware of how that release can pass through your entire body. Just be aware of that. At that point, your body will realize it's time to relax. It will send you an impulse to take a deep breath. Do. And as you exhale, you're sending even more tension out of your body. And now, step 3, just sit and pay attention to what that change feels like. You've reduced the tension in your body incrementally. Step 3 is to consciously register what that change feels like. Again, this technique, this process is building awareness of what it's like to be relaxed. And again, gently clasping the hands together. On my count, 3, 2, 1, release. Wait for the impulse, deep breath. Exhale. And monitor what that feels like. In particular, pay attention to the beating of your heart and the increase throbbing in your limbs, your feet, your hands, your head as the blood flow is increasing. And for 15 seconds now, just pay attention to how that feels. Here we go. Take a breath. You'll find it gets easier and easier to sit in that stillness. You'll find that it becomes more desirable. You'll find that you become less impatient and you begin to realize that that's the goal. That's where you want to be. So stay in that feeling. What happens to me is I forget that I'm even here to teach, presumably teach this technique. My ideal class would be to invite everyone in and let's just all sit quietly for 30 minutes because it has such a benefit in my mind as a contrast to our normal approach to life. So let's do it again. Gently clasping the hands together, registering what it feels to have contracted muscles. On my count, you're going to release that contraction and feel that wave of release pass through your body. 3, 2, 1, release. Feel that release in your chest, your shoulders, your neck, your face, your pelvis, your feet. When you feel the impulse, take a deep breath and transfer more tension out of your body on the exhale. And now sit and notice what's happened. Register the change. 15 seconds. Deep breath. And in that moment of stillness, you're like an explorer at that moment. When you come to that moment of stillness, your job is to search your body for sensation. It's a very sensual experience, scanning. You're searching for sensation. You're saying, what am I feeling in my legs now? What am I feeling in my face? What am I feeling in my hands? Pay very close attention and take mental notes of what that feels like. And if you come across a pocket of tension in, let's say, your neck, then just take a second to 3, 2, 1, release. Incrementally release that tension. So you're learning how to take control of your body. You're learning how to actually alter your state of being. Again, it's a tool you're developing through practice that you can utilize anytime, anywhere. It's absolutely free. It takes as little as a few minutes. And it puts you back in yourself. It allows you to release tension, to stop worrying, stop obsessing about things. For a moment, take your foot off the gas. Again, if this is life, slow down that wheel, stop it if you can, and reverse it, and come back to just being. Because that's equally legitimate. It's equally important in life in terms of accomplishing what you want to accomplish or dealing with whatever problems or issues you have. Equally. Because you've come back to your true self, you've balanced your life, and you can approach your work with an open and calm mind and a physically relaxed body. It just feels better. Everything just works better when you're balanced. So all we're doing with this technique and with practicing this technique is building an awareness of relaxation and release through the incremental release of muscular tension, reinforcing and developing a still state of being in contrast to the more active, efforting state of being. Here we go again. Gently clasping the hands together. 3, 2, 1. Release. Feel the release pass through your body. When you feel the impulse, take a deep breath. Exhale. Transfer whatever remaining tension there is out of your body on that breath. And now sit in stillness and study how that feels. Really reinforce the difference you feel in being relaxed versus tense, of being expanded as opposed to contracted. 15 seconds. Deep breath. And when you've reached that still, quiet place, for me, what's most calming about it is for that moment, I feel like there's nowhere I need to be. There's nowhere I need to go. There's nothing I need to be thinking about. There's no demand or stress on me as a person. So I can relax. And you say, well, there's always stress. There's always worries. And I say, yeah, pretty much yes, you're right. It's very difficult to let go of our worries and concerns and pursuits. But can you do it for a minute? Can you spare a minute? Can you spare 2 minutes? And what you find is when you get to that calm place, even though you were thinking, I can't spare it, you go, maybe I can. This ain't so bad. And your worries start to seem less compulsive. The things that felt like they must be dealt with immediately, you suddenly realize aren't that urgent. That the highest concern you have can, generally speaking, be put aside for a few minutes. It'll be there when you come back. And when you get to this still, calm place, you find that you're not as aware of time. It can change your entire view of your world, because you're seeing the world as it is, which is basically just what it is, as opposed to the conceptions we have in our mind. So-and-so said that means so-and-so. I really have to get this done. If I don't, then so-and-so will happen. We're projecting, we're thinking ahead, we're imagining. And we've got this whole world built in our minds of what needs to be done. And when you come to a still, quiet place of relaxation and release, you realize that that was all a construction of sorts. You built that world in your mind, but it's just your choice to motivate you or for whatever reason. But it's not real. All that's real is what is right now. So let's try it again. Gently clasping the hands together. 3, 2, 1. Release. Let that release pass through your body. Take a deep breath from your body telling you to take a breath. Follow that impulse. Transport tension out on the breath. And now sit and register what that feels like. What does it feel like to be relaxed and quiet and still? 15 seconds. It's really an amazing experience to actually feel your heart beating and the blood pulsing through your body. It's a very alive feeling. It's, if and when I do have the occasional beer or drink, that's pretty much what that achieves. It suddenly opens up the blood vessels and you feel this sensation of your limbs and everything you feel yourself again. And a lot of our tension comes from being extended outside of ourselves, from being having left ourselves behind. And we need to relax because we're starting to feel like we're losing touch with ourselves. So this process puts you back in touch with yourself, and it feels very good because you suddenly feel like you don't really need anything external to feel alive or at peace. It's all here. So it's a good feeling. And I want to take a moment to comment. Someone said the other day, when you take the breath, you take it with your mouth open. Is it okay to take it through your nose? Anything's okay. Any way you feel like tweaking this technique. As I like to say, it's a room full of outlets, electrical outlets, and you need to plug in somewhere. Any outlet will do. I show you a technique that works for me. You are welcome to tweak this to customize it to your own needs, because every body is different, as we know. So you're welcome to use this as a guide, as a jumping off point, but of course you're welcome to cater it to your own body. The objective being the same for all of us, and that's to reach a calm, quiet, still, empty place where we can just be. Where our minds are clear, our muscles are relaxed, the blood is flowing freely, and we're at peace. That's the goal. So it doesn't matter how you get there. Doesn't matter how you get there. This is just a way to teach you that coming to a calm place has value, and it's worth taking the time every day outside of your external activities to come to this place. So let's do it again. Gently clasping the hands together, and on my count you're going to release, and you're going to take that feeling of release from your hands and you're going to pass it through your entire body. You're going to let it radiate through your entire body. Clasping, 3, 2, 1, release. Entire body has just let go. And feel what that does to your body. How you suddenly have greater sensation in your legs and arms and face and feet. When your body sends you the impulse, take a deep breath. Let it out. When you've just scooped up and transported even more tension out of your body. And now step 3, sit still, quiet, and pay attention to the beating of your heart and the new sensations you feel as a result of letting go an incremental amount of muscular tension. 15 seconds. Deep breath. Now, right now, you don't have to be anywhere. You don't have to go anywhere. You don't have to think about a thing. You're just in your body. Now, people have said to me, oh, it's a form of meditation. And I say, if that's what you want to call this. But I don't call it meditation because I tend to think of meditation as more of a mental process. There's a physical element to it, but meditation, you know, a clearing of the mind, perhaps a mantra, perhaps certain thoughts, positive affirmations. That's what I consider meditation. This method, scanning, as I call it, the incremental release of muscular tension, I devised because it's a much more directly physical approach. I'm not thinking about thoughts or mantras or philosophies or anything. I'm not thinking about anything except the incremental release of muscular tension. And it's a very simple approach because muscles can either do one of two things. They can either contract or they can release. That's it. So you're not dealing with a complicated system here. You're basically encouraging your body to release. You're instructing your muscles to release. And your muscles will, to a degree, listen to you. Obviously, we have control. I can contract and release. Some muscles will become contracted and it's difficult to release them. But my suggestion to you is that if you begin to release certain parts of your body, and I start with the hands, the body picks up those cues and says, oh, we're changing direction. We're moving in a direction of relaxation, and it will pass through your body. It will begin to move through your body as your body realizes that there's a new game in town. And the body will at some point take over. So incremental release is, I don't call it meditation, I call it the incremental release of muscular tension for the purpose of achieving a deep physical and mental state of calm. If you put your full concentration into relaxing a muscle or group of muscles, I can almost guarantee, having done this for several years now, and many hours, the rest of your body will follow, as will your mind. So I don't worry about clearing my head. I don't worry about positive affirmations. Those are fine. But I don't concern myself with having to remember any particular sequence of thoughts or ideas. I concentrate on incrementally releasing the muscles of first my hands and encouraging my body to follow that path, to follow that practice. And it will. The body is persuadable if done gently and gradually. And I find that when I've done this for a certain amount of time, for me it's about 10 minutes to break through, if you will, that my entire body is relaxed and my mind, without my directly trying, has cleared and is quiet. So I like to think of the brain as a muscle as well. That muscle follows this path just like the rest of the muscles in my body. So I don't call it meditation. I call it a physical task of sorts, the incremental release of muscular tension. Again, a very simple technique. All you need to know how to do is contract. 3, 2, 1, release. Pay attention to how that feels. See if you can pass along that sensation to other parts of your body. Take a deep breath, which your body is going to want to do when it is relaxed to replenish the oxygen. Let it out. And then take 15, 30 seconds, a minute to pay very close attention to what just happened. What it feels like to release and relax. You're building a muscle memory so that you can come back to it on demand when you need it. And you'll get better and better at it. It'll become a place that you're familiar with. It's like in a song. If you practice singing a song, at first you'll forget the melody and the lyrics, but the more you sing it, someday someone will come up to you and say, can you sing this song? And like that, of course, I've sung it a million times. Well, this is a song. We're singing a different song. We're singing the song of release and relax. And so I want you to become very familiar with it. And that's what this practice is. So let's try it again. The process of scanning is the incremental release of muscular tension, starting with the hands, passing it through the body, taking a deep breath to oxygenate the body and releasing it, and then sitting for a given amount of time and registering what that feels like so that you can encourage that feeling and do it again. And it's a build. The more time you spend doing this, the deeper the state of relaxation. So you can do it for a few minutes. It's valuable. Once you've acknowledged that it's a worthy process, you've taught yourself and your body that this is something you like to do. But the longer you do it, the more you do it, the deeper the state of relaxation. So let's do it again. Clasp the hands together. Experience what that contraction feels like. 3, 2, 1. Release. Pass that release along. Feel it enter your body and go all the way down to your feet. Like the ripples in a lake when you drop a pebble and it just radiates out through your body. Let that happen. Take a deep breath. Let it all out. And now sit for 15 seconds and register what you're feeling. Particularly the beating of your heart and the pulsing and throbbing of blood through your body. And experiencing just what it feels like to just be still. A few more times and we're going to call it a day. Yes, I see what time it is. I've gone over again. Gently squeezing the hands together. 3, 2, 1. Release. Let that sensation pass through your body. 15 seconds of nothing, of stillness, of quiet. And again, gently clasp the hands together. 3, 2, 1. Release. Deep breath. Exhale. 15 seconds of still and quiet. Pay attention to the beating of your heart. Deep breath. Last time. Gently clasping the hands together. 3, 2, 1. Release. Let that release pass through your body. Take a deep breath. Release. And now sit in stillness and quiet and release and see what that feels like. Register every feeling you're having in your body for 15 seconds. Deep breath. And what you'll begin to discover, as I said, I've been doing this a long time, and what I began to find is that when I got to that still place, I could then take a little journey through my body, and I could investigate what's going on in my neck. And if I felt some tension, then I could on my count, 3, 2, 1, release, I could release 1% of the tension in my neck, and I could begin to go into these different areas and incrementally release tension. You've got like a little tiny hammer. You've got the tiniest hammer and chisel, and you're going around just chiseling away little bits of that tension. And that's the way you persuade your body, by saying, I'm not asking you to let go completely. I'm just saying, how about we let go a little bit right here and a little bit right here, and you'll begin to utilize those moments of stillness and quiet to explore and find the pockets of tension in your body, and you will actually be gaining control of your own body. You'll have learned through practice this new tool, which you never, or perhaps knew but had forgotten you had, and that's to actually induce a state of relaxation and calm for yourself without having to reach outside yourself. You can do it for yourself. And that's my goal, is to give everyone that ability. Instinctively, everyone knows this. Everyone knows this instinctively. We do. We just have to be reminded. We have to remind ourselves or have someone remind us. But we all know how to do this. We just have to make the decision that you're going to divert your energies from this aggressive, contracting space over to the release and relax space. And that's when you take the time to scan, that's what you're doing. And the more you do it, the more you validate it, the better you get at it, until it becomes second nature. And it begins to be infused into your life. You'll notice that in your life, when you would typically have been reactive and gotten wound up about something, you'll say, that's really taking me out into that arena of contraction, and I'm aware that that may not be too healthy, and I have the ability and the tools to bring myself back, and I'm just going to do it because it feels a lot better. And you'll start to balance your life. And that's all my goal is to help you do that. Of course, I don't want to get too philosophical, but my sense is that if we would all just learn how to dial it back and relax and come back into ourselves, just the world might be a little bit less troublesome. And so that's all I have to say today. Those of you who came and visited, I'm sorry if you came late. I see my cousin Jan is here. Hi, Jan. Those of you who came late, I will repost this session immediately on Facebook, so you can watch it if you like there. And then I leave it up for about 24 hours, and I take it down and repost the next session. But all my sessions are ultimately reposted for you to look at on my Facebook page, Sqanning, Sqanning. If you do a search for Sqanning, you'll see that page, and they're all posted there. There's just a few now, but that'll start to increase. And a YouTube page also called Sqanning, Sqanning. So you can go to any of those pages anytime and watch any of these sessions, absolutely free. They're all, I always like to say they're 20 to 30 minutes, but they tend to be more 40 minutes. Because, as I said, when you're doing this, you lose track of time. So I encourage you to practice it for a minute a day, for 2 minutes a day, half an hour a day, hour a day. The more you practice, the more familiar it will get, the more readily you'll be able to enter this state of quiet and calm and release. But again, it's an incremental process. Take your hands, clasp them, and incrementally release tension. 3, 2, 1, release. The tiniest amount of tension. What's important is that you register what it felt like, and you begin to head down that road. And that's it. Thank you for coming. I'll be probably doing a session again tomorrow. I typically do one at 11 in the morning. I try to do one at 4 in the afternoon. And sometimes, if I have time, I do one at 8 o'clock at night. Again, it's Sqanning, Sqanning, the incremental release of muscular tension for the purpose of achieving a deep physical and mental state of calm. Have a good night. See you next time. Bye.